It's gonna sound. I hate when I sound douchey. I sound.
Well, nobody's listening.
I sound douchey all. And we should be back now. We have fixed our technical difficulties. By the way, you guys missed the best 12 minutes of RNCN that has ever happened.
Yep. It's really a shame.
I can honestly say I have no idea why that was not working. I had to restart everything to get it to work again.
It sounds like our system has a case of the Mondays.
If there's a Marconi Award for digital broadcasting, we got it.
I believe they're just going to name it. They're probably just going to name it after us.
Yeah.
Here's hoping we can salvage some of that for the clips or something later. I don't think so. I imagine none of that audio came through. Man, that's a shame. You wouldn't believe the stories we told. The fun we had, the laughs.
Pride, emotions were had. Anyway.
Tears.
I mean, people could see us, so it's clearly not what we were doing in here.
Clearly we're lying.
To my wife, it was the exact same show that it would have been no matter what. It's on mute. It's in the background.
Yeah, I watched it.
I'm paying attention to him. Yeah.
Right.
She's like, yeah, you wore that thing. I saw it. Well,
yeah.
Foolproof argument. Then.
Exactly. What we're talking about was a guy in Detroit who received a bill for $1,400 for a water bill. He thought that was really weird because he hadn't spent any more or any less water than he had in the past 4 or 5 years. So he called the water company to complain. They told him he owed it. It was not a mistake. He owed it because a few years back, someone wrecked into a water meter counter thingy nearby, which I don't know how someone does that and no one pays. Anyway, that may be
Detroit.
Yeah, there you go. So he had been billed wrong for the last few years.
So when I first heard the story, I was mistakenly thinking that someone had broken like a water pipe and it was spewing water everywhere, and that's not his fault. But no, you're saying many years ago
someone hit
the meter had broken and they were just miscalculating it this whole time.
That he was using twice the amount of water than what they had been registering. So he owed basically back taxes on water. He said that's not fair. I pay what you sent me as a bill. And Zach's argument was, look, that's the same thing. That's not fair. The same. You send me a bill, I pay a bill. Y'all guys make a mistake. That's your fault.
Yeah,
that's on you.
Yeah.
I live in an apartment. I've lived in an apartment since college. It's great. I know I shouldn't rent. I should own, whatever. That's a topic for another show. And recently, I got a bill, as you do at the first of the month. It was like, hey, you got to pay your rent and your utilities. Great. So I take my check in. It's fine. And then like halfway through the month, I get another thing. It's like, oh, hey, you were short like $40. It wasn't even a whole lot. But I was short. And so I go up to the office with my like original bill, and I was like, hey, no, here's how much you told me I was due. And they say, oh, well, yeah, but we had some kind of problem, and that didn't charge your electric or something. I'm not making this up for this story. This really happened, which is why I feel this way. So, yeah, you got to pay it, and you got like 3 days to pay it or something, or else you get a late fee. And I was like, what do you... No. I paid what you told me to pay. We're done. Like, that's on you. Either bill me next time, or that's that. I don't know. You eat it. Like, come on.
I can understand.
How is it suddenly on me because you screwed up? That doesn't make sense.
Right. I can understand asking you to pay it because, I mean, you're obligated to pay your bills, and if there was a clerical error, then you're still obligated to pay.
Yeah.
But the idea of then them charging you a late fee because they didn't send it to you or they didn't apply it to your bill, I think that's kind of ridiculous.
Right. It's difficult to kind of flip this back for a consumer analogy, and I don't really have one. But yeah, like, how is it suddenly, and there's like a due date, and if I don't get it, then I got to pay more? It's like, get out of here. That's obscene. Like, that's you screwed up. I don't know. That's that, I guess. I don't see why there should be more to it, but I also understand the idea of you have to pay what you owe. I get that, I guess. I guess.
Yeah. Begrudgingly, I have to pay my bills.
Yeah. Before the conversation kind of morphed into, let's say you're at the grocery store or you're at a Target, and the cashier either scans something wrong or she scans it and you don't hear that beep, and so it didn't get rung up.
Right.
But she bags it up and she keeps going,
Right.
and you notice, and you don't say anything. Is what we were kind of saying, because then what? That's her mistake. She didn't do it. Like, it's not on me to be her, like, you know, her boss to say you're not doing your job right, and you get the benefit.
Right. I regularly go to Chipotle for lunch. Love Chipotle, Listeria and all. And
Shout out Chipotle.
I go so often, Matt knows this, that the place I go to knows my order and can usually start making it when I walk in the door. VIP service. It's fantastic. But every once in a while, I'll change it up. Normally, I get like the cheapest thing on the menu, the chicken. Every once in a while, I want steak. All right, it's Friday. Why not? Or it's Monday, and the first 16 minutes of the show didn't go well. So I want to change it up and get something, you know, for myself.
This is a steak kind of day, right?
It's a steak kind of day, Matt. And sometimes I'll change it in the middle of the menu, in the middle of the order, and I'll say steak instead of chicken. Oh wow! So it gets to the end of the line, and the cashier, who knows me, assumes I got chicken. But I always tell them, hey, no, I got that thing. I need to pay the extra $1. And every time I wonder to myself, I shouldn't do that. Like, why would I? Why not just let it slide? It's not going to matter to them. The cashiers don't care. The big corporate Chipotle, they don't care about that $1. To them, it's like a quarter. Why does it matter? I guess it's, I don't know, character or integrity or something else I can say about myself that makes me seem great. Just doing the right thing, I guess. And when it comes to a company billing you, like if they screwed up on their end, the way I see it, like you shouldn't have to pay that. That's like getting a free Coke out of a vending machine. When you pay for one, you get two.
Yeah.
It's not like Coke's going to come hunt you down and be like, you owe us that $1.25.
I see.
No, man.
So as long as there's not a person there,
Your vending
it's not
machine
hurting anybody,
did me
right?
Yeah,
it's
like
not,
as far as I'm concerned.
not damaging anyone because nobody's right there to catch you.
And why not make that a return on investment? I'm more likely to use that Coke machine later because
Because
I
you
got
can steal
something out
from
of
it.
That's
Because
right.
You can
And if
rob
my
from
water
Coca-Cola.
company let me know, hey, we've been billing you wrong for like 14 months, but rather than make you pay this, we're just going to eat it because we're good people, I'd keep using that water service. This guy's
I
probably
don't
going
think
to
you
use
get a
another
choice
one.
in water service.
Yeah,
I
no, you
believe.
don't.
Yeah.
Not in Detroit.
Yeah.
No.
Well,
not anywhere.
not
Not
in
that,
Plano.
I'm aware of.
Right.
Now, electricity company maybe, but still, I don't know that. I will point out that Samantha on Facebook said if a cashier overcharged you, you'd point that out. So if you know that a cashier gave you something for free, you're kind of stealing. Now,
Right.
I want to say she said kind of stealing, so I'm not going to count that as totally stealing.
But we had talked about before that instance of someone not scanning something, most people are fine with.
Yeah.
But it becomes a different like moral thing when they give you too much change
Right.
back. If you pay with a 20 and they thought you'd pay with a 50 and they give you a higher amount of change back.
Sure.
And you're like, well, keep it.
I know.
People are like, well, that's cash. That's like a real thing. You actually stole money.
Yeah.
And people have a bigger problem.
I know it
with
was a Curb episode, Matt. You probably saw it. Did you ever see, or have you ever run into the problem where you gave somebody like a 20 and they thought that they gave you a 10? So they give you like half your change back, and you're like, no, I paid with the 20. And they're like, no, you didn't.
I know I've had that happen.
You ever
at
have
least
it? It's
once
happened
in
to me
my
once.
life, yeah.
It was incredibly
not,
awkward.
Not with that much. It was probably the difference of a couple of dollars. But,
yeah. Mine was in a movie theater. A manager had to come out and count the register. It was a whole thing.
Wow, you made
It
a
was for like
fuss about
$7. Yeah, well, I don't remember. I paid with 15 or something. They thought I paid. I don't remember how exactly it worked out, but yeah, it was a whole process. They were like, "No, you paid with the 10," and I was like, "Nope, that was a 20." Like I know it was, and they were like, "No, it was a whole how to do."
Well, when I used to work at a grocery store,
Yeah.
that was a common con, though, for people to come in and confuse the cashier to
Right.
get more cash back. I don't know how they did it exactly, but they would like, here's a 50 I want, and they would name off like small amount of bills they want back. And it sounds right, but you accidentally give back like a lot more cash. So that's probably why.
Like
they
I
count.
went 3 10s and 10 and 5 5s and
Yeah,
you
4
know.
ones and a 20. Yeah, like, well,
Yeah.
yeah. So that's a pretty common con. Also, before we're going to take a quick break, when we come back, we have an exciting story to tell you about. A topic we were talking about beforehand is: do you ever hide money from your honey? What a great tagline.
yeah.
Going into financials, coming up next on the Lunch Break Show. It's RNCN. Thank you. We are back on the Lunch Break Show. I am Josh Hart here, talking with you every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 12 until 1 on Facebook, on YouTube, and on Twitter. Hopefully the sound is back and still working.
We should be good.
Good, great. I am here.
I'm letting people know that they're gonna get this episode for free.
Yeah, totally free this time.
Yeah,
this time
You can have this one.
Yeah,
that's
Wednesday
right.
though. Get ready. I'm in the studio with Matt Stoker in the studio and Zach Lewis here to my right, and we're talking about a headline that we saw coming up where people are starting to hide cash from their significant others.
Starting
Whether that's well, I guess you're starting to get caught, or it's a growing trend of like cashing away or squirreling away some cash from your significant other. And so we got into the topic of whether or not we do joint accounts or whether we do separate accounts. And we're all in this room. We're all coupled. Matt and I are both happily married, and Zach is dating long term.
Happily dating.
Happily
long-term.
dating as
Yeah,
well.
whoa, yeah.
We assume if
Don't
you're
drop
dating,
the happily. Yeah.
we assume if you're dating, it's happily because
Yeah,
you have
right.
a choice to get out. Yeah. Married, you're locked in.
We're done.
You're stuck.
Yeah.
You're tied down. Yeah.
So you might as well be happy. And so that's the deal. So, and we were talking about this, and I think Matt and I are both joint accounts.
Yes, yeah. We have been since before we got married. Actually, we had a joint account, and I don't know that we ever really did. I mean, we did the separate thing for a while, but I think once we moved in together, it was just easier to do the joint account.
The joint account.
Yeah.
See, I'm weird about the joint account. I think I'm the only issue here. Yeah, because Josh, you were saying you didn't have one before, but now you do, and things are easier.
So when my wife and I were just dating
Yeah.
and living together, we had a separate account. I had mine, she had hers. Mm-hmm. The day we got married, we went out and got a joint account. Well, not the day, but around that time frame.
Sure.
Went out and got a joint account. And what we were going to do, we were very ambitious. What we were going to do is we had like 4 accounts. We had our savings account.
Wow.
We had our joint account. We had my account. We had her account. All into the same thing.
You kept the separate accounts.
So we kept separate accounts. And our original thought was, look, each of us would get like $100 a month or whatever it is in our own accounts, in my account and her account.
Sure.
To spend as we wish. No one can have a say. If I want to go out and buy nothing but comic books and bubble gum, it's totally fine. That's my cash to do with it. And that lasted for about a week.
I was gonna say, here lies madness.
Yeah.
Trying to make that work.
Roughly 6 days, 7
yeah.
if you're going to count specifically.
It did not last long. One was my fault because just keeping up with it and, and like giving allowance seemed really petty. It seemed like, okay, dear, I've given you your allowance.
Right.
It just sounds very male chauvinistic, and I just didn't like the way it felt.
Well, yeah, especially in a situation where one of you is making more money than the other person. Then it's always going to feel like you're giving that to them rather than it being just a shared pool of money.
Yeah.
Right. We have separate, right? And we're dating, so that's fair. I think when you get married, there's a little bit more of a societal obligation. But currently, we are separate. Talking about getting a joint account because I was reading some stupid BuzzFeed article the other day, and it was like, you should have a joint account when you get married, and that's show how well you work together. Yeah, it's a test of your relationship strength. The split account thing works pretty great, though. I got to be honest. It's not a matter of like who buys dinner more or less. We're both pretty good about the split there. I'd argue I spend a little bit more on little things, but it's fine. She buys things on Amazon. I like going out to lunch. We both have our own separate hobbies, and so far it works pretty okay. I could get kind of the joint account thing. Samantha was saying that on stream, like have 2 separate and then 1 joint. And Sarah Crilly was saying she and her beau both have separate, but when they get married, they think they're going to get a joint. You tried the separate plus the joint.
Yep.
Didn't work.
Well, it didn't work because it just made it more confusing. So, for instance, the things that we had to have a conversation about everything that became separate, which is a really weird way to break things down.
Right.
And for most of the time, guys cost less.
Okay.
Like I don't have to go get my nails done. I don't have to get manicures,
Haircuts cost
pedicures,
less. Yeah.
facials, massages. I don't care about any of that.
Right.
And so she was like, look, for all the things that I care about, they're more expensive than the things that you care about. So for me, you get me clean socks, clean underwear, and the occasional video game and 6-pack of beer, and I'm set.
Yeah.
Like I'm golden.
Sure.
And for her, there's more upkeep.
Right.
For just the things that she cares about and that makes her feel good. And so it kind of came down to like, okay, then do we allocate more money for you? But then that's not like, then I'm like, hey, that's not fair for me. Like, should I then be more expensive? It just worked in this really weird, like, spiraling circle of, well, now I want to spend more, and then just kind of became nonsensical. So then we just took everything out, and it goes, hey, here's what we have. Like, don't go crazy. The only thing I do have that some people find weird is that I have an alert on my phone every time our credit card gets used.
I'm glad we have the opportunity to talk about this.
Yeah.
now that we're with the internet. Yeah. You have an alert every time your credit card gets used.
Yep, every time. So
And this is between the both of you. It's not just you.
Nope.
Like, whenever either of you use the card, you get a notification.
Does she have this alert as well?
She no, doesn't have it.
But she opted out of it.
Not because she couldn't. She just didn't want to.
Right. She's like, I don't want that.
Yeah.
Right. Whereas you get it regularly.
Yeah.
Why?
So
why opt into that?
I had it set up because we had our card stolen one time for like, and someone spent like 2 cents on something, one of those like small accounts, whatever it is, and so
Just to see if it's working.
Yeah, and so now you know what? I want to know when our card gets tagged, and so there's been a handful of times that it's made me look stalkerish, where I'll say, hey, you spent $35 or $25 at this restaurant in Allen.
Right.
I'm like, no. And so I'll call her and be like, hey, are you in Allen? And she'll go, yes, weirdo. But it's like, but again, like I didn't know she was going to Allen. I didn't I don't keep tabs. And so if she's in she went to a weird place and it was like Allen, like get some like, Zoe's or whatever it was.
Right.
But she was with her friends, so it made me look super controlling.
Right. But you're not intentionally.
No.
But you do still approach her about certain things.
Well, yeah. If I see like for instance, I saw that she went to like Society Bakery, or she went to like Elizabeth Cakes.
Sure.
I'll go, hey, did you get some cupcakes?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it in a way of like, but I'm more of saying like, do you have some left over? Like, are there some that I can have? But that's one of those things. And she'll go, oh, stop.
Yeah.
It's like, well, I have it. Like I'm not like being sneaky about it.
This isn't on me. You know what's going on here.
You know, yeah. So like to me, it's like one of those deals. Like we also have a joint Facebook, a joint email account.
Yeah.
So that's insane. Like I can't go down that road with you.
No.
That's crazy.
It is so much better.
It's better.
It's better. And here's why it's better.
Please.
Because I'm horrible at keeping up with like social appointments. Just horrible. So all our bills go to the joint account. I pay those. All the like friend requests and stuff for like parties and things, that goes to Facebook and to our joint email. And I don't ever read those. I care about my friends, but I don't. That's not how I'm wired. For her, she keeps our schedule. We have a same calendar, so we know when I'm doing stuff, when we're going out places, what events we have going on. It is a phenomenal system. If you don't like having your life well organized, and your wife likes to organize it, phenomenal.
Yeah.
I mean, I do the same thing, but it's just people, if we're going to events, people send us both an invite. And and I just say, hey, we're going to this? Okay, reply yes that we're going to this.
You do have a Facebook page.
I have a fan page.
Okay, you have a fan page.
Oh, well, excuse me.
Well, okay.
Sorry. I didn't know I was sitting amongst royalty.
I have 800 fans on Facebook.
Can we drop a hot link to Josh's fan page, please?
We sure can. Like and subscribe.
I will point out there's a very heated debate going on in the comments right now between whether or not you should have a split account or a joint account.
People hate it. People go, oh, you're that couple. But I love Facebook. I just hate being on it. So like I get the need for Facebook, and we're on Facebook Live right now. That's amazing. I get all of that stuff. I personally don't like being on there because I've never gotten off Facebook. It was like, boy, I feel a lot better about myself.
Yeah.
Right.
For having this,
and I think as far as the bank accounts go, I think as long as you have a healthy enough respect with each other and don't. I mean, obviously, if one person is spending a heck of a lot of money more and it's not something that you've said, okay, this is fine, or I don't mind what you do. As long as you're reasonable about it, I don't think there's any problem with a joint account. And I do think you're right when it comes to having separate accounts where things for women do tend to cost a little bit more. Even if you're going for the bargain basement, say haircuts or something like that. You can go and you can see the base level price. If you go to the same place, you see the base level price for a man is probably $10 to $15 cheaper
Yep.
than the base level price for a woman, and that's just the way it is. So yeah, I understand if you're having to pay out of the same accounts or individual accounts for the same things, and they happen to cost a little bit more. That's not really fair, and I think Megan goes and gets her hair cut, and I never raise a stink about it because it's fine. I understand that.
This is where my wife was genius, because instead of downgrading her things, she got me into her things.
Okay, how do you mean?
So then they weren't like her things; they were our things.
Right.
So when she first met me, I was a hot mess. I mean, I was wearing like cargo shorts and like Hawaiian shirts and just a hot mess.
Living the life.
Living
Just
the dream.
the way it
Viva
ought to
la
be
vida.
lived.
Yeah, living the dream. And over the next like 5 or 6 years, she chiseled away and got down to
This rough exterior.
the refined gentleman you see in front of you today. And I'm grateful because ultimately I needed to grow
a model
up.
man.
Yeah,
yes.
a model man. But like again, I like pedicures. I like manicures.
Yeah.
I go to a stylist, not a barber. So because again, the hair's long, curly, needs some attention.
It's a good look.
Yeah, so I go and we go to the same hairstylist.
Okay.
One, because it's convenient. And so like those are the kind of things like she brought me in. Like before, I could be totally fine with some Gap jeans, but now I'm used to sevens.
Okay.
Sevens and Joe's jeans are the way I go because they're comfortable and I like the way they fit. So like she upgraded me instead of like downgrading her stuff.
Right.
So now we both are expensive. So
I was gonna say, it was okay. Well, that scale tips one way, but how did you bring her down to your level? Did you?
I did not. Yeah,
not
no.
at all.
Didn't win any of those fights.
Yeah, I lost every single.
Lost everyone.
I've never won a battle.
What
ever.
do you mean?
In an argument between us, never won.
You've won some things.
No.
You walked down the aisle to the final countdown.
But you act like that I did do. So
Yeah. This guy.
but again, I don't think she cared that much. I think the things that I care about, she's so indifferent on.
Yeah.
And that doesn't matter. Like for instance,
Right.
like the one thing that we had is that I don't want to say I planned the whole thing. I planned a lot of our wedding.
Yeah.
And the one thing that I really wanted, because I don't think it's fair, that only she got to walk down the aisle. Like, I know what? It's my wedding too. I want to walk down the aisle.
Yeah.
Together. And so me and my mom and dad walked down the aisle together.
That's really
to the final countdown. The difference is that I wanted the like full-on metal version.
Of course.
And she had like the piano and like acoustic like.
As
soft.
you do.
The more refined version.
Right. The gentlemanly version.
Yeah.
Is there a more refined version of the final countdown?
Yeah.
Apparently
Is
they
there
found
really?
it.
Yeah.
God, I wish we could play
Oh,
it.
no, it was live. Like we had a live
Oh,
guitarist
wow.
and pianist.
Yeah, like a
playing
quartet.
it.
Yeah.
playing the song.
Fantastic.
Like, I essentially wanted Jack Black in the background with the microphone. Like,
Yeah.
That's what I wanted.
Right.
What we got was like diddling ding, diddling ding ding, diddling. Yeah. So but
It's
again,
a little victorious.
I did get to have my song. But other than that,
Right.
It's basically everything that I care about. She could. Yeah, sure, fine. You can have it. So
God, we walked a mile in this segment, didn't we? We've come so far.
Yeah, look where we are.
Where
I don't
did
know
we
that we've
start?
solved
How
anything.
did we get here? Yeah.
talking about hiding money from your honey.
Hiding money from your honey. That's right.
Yeah.
So one thing Matt had mentioned before we move on to the next thing, you said the pros outweigh the cons. You said the pros of having a joint bank account outweigh the cons.
I think so.
Help me out a little bit here. Help me see the light, because currently I don't think in my situation they don't, and everybody's different. But
okay, so
how'd
I
you
will
ride
say
this
like I can't speak to the having a joint and then separate accounts, but as opposed to having just separate accounts when you're in a long-term relationship or when you're married, I think it avoids the little disagreements that you'll come up against. Again, so for instance, if you go out to dinner, who's paying? Who's
Right.
paying for dinner? If you go and buy groceries, or if you buy something for the house, who's paying for that? Do you have to split everything evenly, or is it like, oh, okay, I'll pick up dinner, and then do you start racking up that amount in your brain? Well, I paid for dinner the last 3 nights, so maybe you ought to pick it up this night. I think for those situations, having a joint account is just makes that stuff easier. Where even if you completely trust that other person, you're not still running a tally in your head saying, well, I picked up the last 3 meals, so maybe you ought to get breakfast this time, or maybe you ought to go pick up lunch, or maybe you ought to buy groceries this time.
I I guess I agree. Yeah, because on the one hand, I'm like, I don't run a tally, but like, I totally like you do.
You have to
Inherently, unintentionally, but I do. Yeah, there's times. I'll get breakfast on like a Saturday morning or something, and come Sunday night when it's like, hey, let's grab food before we watch HBO or whatever. Who's gonna order the pizza? She's like, well, you want to get it, and I'm like, well, I got breakfast. Like, it's true. You do have a little bit of a something going there, but I enjoy the separate accounts for the, I don't know, casual friendliness, if that makes any sense. Like Christine let me explain. Like Christine got
like an arrangement.
Christine got in a car accident not that long ago. Very unfortunate. Everybody's okay. Everything worked out, right? It's just metal. Who cares? Not a big deal. But, she's working on some stuff, and I said, of course I'm here to help you out, but man, like you're gonna take a ding for that. That's really gonna hurt your bank account, isn't it? Like, it's fun. It's friendly ribbing, Yeah, and she gives it right back as we do.
But it's also one of those things where, again, it's different. It's obviously different when you're married. But it's one of those things where if Megan were to get into a car wreck, that negatively affects me too, because now we're down to one car. And now what do we do? And now, like who gets the car and things like that. So, yeah, it's in my best interest to, if she gets into a car wreck, we need to get the car fixed. Yep. It doesn't matter anymore, whose it is.
Of course.
Yeah, we need to get the get things fixed.
I'm in the same boat. Yeah, at one point she asked me, she said, "You mind if you help me do this thing?" I was like, of course not. Like, I'm absolutely going to help you. Like, oh yeah, what am I just going to leave you out in the cold? Like, well, you can't afford that? That's too bad. Like, good luck with that. No, absolutely.
It's easier now than ever to send people with Venmo and things like that. It's easier to split bills, or one person pick it up and say, all right, I'll just send you the half later. Yeah. It's easy to do that. So if it works for you, it works for you. I'm just saying that I think, ultimately it's probably the easiest thing just to have a joint account.
I think
together.
So someone wrote on Facebook and said, what about buying gifts like for birthdays?
So
how do you keep things
we can go down the
secret?
list here. I've got a ton of things to ask about.
You take cash out. You just say, okay, we're gonna each pull out $100 in cash. This is what we do for birthdays, and that's it. You take cash out. You spend with cash, and they can't track you with cash, dog. That's off the grid, dog.
So
they'll never know.
Okay, that's one approach. And then do you have?
No, I wasn't going to ask about birthday gifts. I was going to ask about like utilities, but flexible utilities, like gas. Like, does that come out of the joint account for both of you?
Yeah, because you both use gas.
Right, but what if I'm driving to do something extemporaneous?
You mean like cars?
If I'm going to a concert or something.
That's your car.
Right, so that comes out of my account.
I guess.
You see?
This is what I mean. Why having a joint account?
Oh my God.
You just pay for gas.
I guess you're right.
You need gas. You just pay for gas.
Two cards. Yeah, one account. I suppose that's true. All right. Well, today I learned. I guess joint accounts are a good thing, right? That's the lesson from this. That's where do we get at the end of all that? Yeah.
And when we come back, we have another episode of Real News Talk Lunch Break. We have a show. We're talking about a story in the UK where a guy got pulled over, lost his car because he handed the officer this. When we come back on the Lunch Break show. Back on the Lunch Break Show. I am Josh. We're here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 12 until 1. You can like us, subscribe, and follow on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. In studio with Zach Lewis and Matt Stoker, and we're talking about a situation in the UK where a guy got pulled over. And the UK, the whole system kind of weirds me out a little bit because they have like points and X amount of points and you lose your car. Or
I think
they
do that in certain places in the U.S. too, or certain states have the point system.
Yeah, I'm not
We
sure.
don't do points, right? In
No,
Texas?
I don't believe
no,
we do,
sir.
no.
Yeah, our cars are all right. That's
Yeah.
yeah.
So anyway, a guy gets pulled over and he doesn't have insurance, and he hands the officer. Do we have a photo of the ID?
Yes, and it's going up
Yeah.
on stream right now.
There it is.
That
yes.
that is the photo he handed the police officer.
Right. Now,
And-
go ahead.
It is clearly one says Simpson, two says Homer. I don't know what the third part says, but a picture of Homer Simpson. Like, he did not even try.
No, there's no attempt being made whatsoever to make this even look real, and he just happens to be named Homer Simpson.
Right. Now, I don't have a UK license to hold this against, so I'm not sure how exactly they structure things. But one, the arbitrary number scheme on here, numbers 1 through 7, I don't know what any of those mean or what they're supposed to be. Two, notice number 7 says USA. Come on. Like, that's
right?
a tip-off if I've ever seen one.
Clearly, you're not living in the
Clearly,
UK.
this is incorrect, sir.
That's my billing address.
Yeah, I also appreciate the Homer Simpson watermark back there, just
Yeah.
to make sure everything's above board, if you
Yeah.
can see that.
It's well made. I will give it that. It looks nice. I would like to have that.
It's the kind of thing you'd pick up at like a Spencer's Gifts,
Yeah.
you know? Yeah, like they have the fake IDs for strange fictional characters like Homer Simpson.
I mean, the glaring problem to me is this guy would seem to be a huge Homer Simpson fan.
you would seemingly.
Yeah, you don't do this and not like Homer Simpson. He or the show. So he got the address wrong. He put 728 Springfield Way, USA, which, by the way, is incorrect. Everyone knows that Simpson lives at 742 Evergreen Terrace.
Right.
in Springfield.
In Springfield.
Yeah.
Now, it doesn't say what state,
Right.
but Springfield.
Clearly
So-
false identification.
Yeah, so clearly that's where he majorly went wrong. I wonder if he would have put his actual photo in that. Because that had to be like a joke one that he had.
Right.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I don't know if he had a real driver's license or just didn't have one and had like a fake one made and forgot about it or whatever it was.
This is all he had in his wallet.
Here's what I think this was. This man was driving around without insurance, so I think it's safe to assume that maybe he's not completely on the up and up. I think this was a subtle attempt to get a laugh. And hopefully, if you can get the cop to laugh, he'll let you go. That's what
That's
this
the
is.
rules. If you make them laugh, then you're free.
So I've heard.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you can get the cop to get a good laugh, you're
Sure.
on your way. I think the smart move would have been the Monopoly get out of jail free card. That's the way to go. That's your best case scenario. Well, sir, I don't have a license, but here's this. Like maybe you'll get a chuckle enough for
never
him to
know.
be
But
like,
don't
yeah,
worry.
hit the bricks, kid. It's fine.
So I will say this. When I first moved to Oklahoma for college and I got a job as a school bus driver,
Right.
I took the best, and I wish I still had it, the best driver's license photo ever.
I wish you still had it too. Actually.
I had my hair spiked all the way up. Like, it was like froed up, like majorly.
How long was your hair?
It was a little shorter than this,
So
but
that's
not
pretty-
much.
yeah, that's
it
pretty
was,
good length,
it was
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
like this.
Sure.
And I was going like...
Now,
in
they
the
let you
picture.
get away with that because anytime I've gone to get my picture taken for a driver's license, they're like, don't smile, look at the camera.
Here's the key. You have to walk in like that.
Okay.
It's come as you are.
Because if you walk in and you look like you may have some needs, they're not going to question you.
So you walked in with that smile
With
plastered
that
on your
smile
face,
plastered on my face.
just staring at everybody
yeah,
like,
just wide-eyed and every tooth I had showing.
Yeah.
This isn't like the DMV. You didn't have to sit in line, right? It's
Yeah,
probably
no,
pretty...
I had to wait like 30 minutes.
You
but I
sit
was
there for a
committed.
half hour?
Yeah, Hawaiian shirt on. Again,
Yeah.
goes back to before my wife met me. I was a hot mess. And so that photo alone got me out of 3 tickets.
No way.
Yes.
Really?
Pulled over for speeding. The cop saw it, laughed, went back, took a picture, brought it back. Another friend pulled up. He came out and looked at it. He laughed, and goes, "I've never given someone a ticket that has this good of an ID. You're good to go."
You got to wonder what the cop radio code is for hilarious encounter. If you're nearby,
Right, yeah,
please
funny.
come out and check it
Yeah.
out. Yeah.
Well,
That's fantastic.
I've had 2 of those then, because the other one that I got off on, that I got away with, was a guy came out. I got pulled over in East Texas going to prom, and I brought a blow up doll to prom.
okay.
Not like,
Fair enough.
not like
You're that guy.
Not like the naughty ones, like just like a regular like plastic doll. There was no like, it wasn't like
Do
physical.
they sell any that aren't the naughty ones?
Yes.
Do they? Well,
my-
like pool floaties and stuff, I guess.
Well, no, it's just it's weird. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Sure.
So my mom bought it.
Not important.
Yeah, because I couldn't go into the store to buy it. So
You're right.
Yeah, so
even
I'm
though it's
gonna-
totally normal.
Yeah, totally normal.
Didn't
yeah.
have any weird parts.
Yeah, it didn't.
Mom had to buy it.
Totally fine. Anyway, I went in, and so I had her in a dress. I had her dress matched my vest and tie. Of course, we were decked out.
Well, yeah. Why wouldn't you?
I had
corsage, or would that poke? Or that would
No, yeah, she didn't have a corsage.
You would have put a pin
yeah,
in
you
it
would have
and-
popped the.
So, okay, this may need some backstory. The backstory is that I had moved away senior year of high school.
Yeah.
Devastated my high school friends forever. You know, I moved away senior year.
That's a bummer,
And so
yeah.
my best friend in high school goes, "Hey, come to prom with me." Like two
Okay.
dudes.
Yeah.
And so, like, because you have to have a person from the school invite you to go to prom.
Right.
And so we didn't want to be the guys that came like together. So I bought Judy, who's going to be our date for prom.
Because that's much more socially acceptable.
That's less creepy. Yeah. Again, train wreck. So I go and so
You
we're-
show, yeah, right.
Yes.
Somebody else's prom,
Yeah.
not your own school.
No, but I did
Got
go
it.
to that school for like 4 years.
Okay, so people kind of knew you.
Yeah, people
sure.
knew me as that guy. It was fine. So we show up. I have her in the driver's seat as I'm driving in back to the town. And the cop pulls me over, looks down, and goes, "Oh, boy." And gets up and then walks back. Again, 2 more squad cars pull up. Everyone's like getting out, taking pictures. It was a...
Why did they pull you over? Were you speeding?
Oh, yeah. I was
Trying to take the HOV line.
Yeah. So that was... I'll have to find a photo of me and Judy together.
Judy,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because that was her name.
Judy.
Was Judy. Phenomenal date. Was not allowed to bring her in to... I was able to bring
Phenomenal
her in.
Yeah,
woman.
right. That's
Great conversation.
How far did you get before some faculty or staff was like, no, like that's...
I got her into the steakhouse where we had our prom dinner.
Okay.
She had her own table. No one said a thing. Which I would have thought that was like okay, this is going to be the stopping point.
Right.
No one said a word at the steakhouse. She rode up front in the limousine with the driver.
Okay.
He didn't say anything. 'Cause why does he care?
Window up or down?
Window up.
Really?
Yeah.
So you couldn't see him?
Well, no. Again, though, there's nothing. Anyway. So then
Right. What would he have done?
know what was
Judy-
going on
Judy's
with your
fine.
date?
Yeah. I know her. She's a high
I trust
caliber
her.
woman.
I
Yeah.
trust
If
her.
selfies were a thing, you know he snuck one at
Yeah.
some point. Yeah, like check this out.
Yeah, the closest I've ever gotten to feeling like a rock star was pulling up at the high school. Cause at this one, all like your family, all the moms and dads come out and like take pictures of you getting out of the limousine and walking the red carpet. Me getting out of that car with Judy was like I was the Rolling Stones entering the arena and just like, oh what, and then pictures, flash bulbs everywhere.
So people were
Nice.
digging it.
Oh,
people
people
were
were,
into it.
yeah, digging it. I get to the front, and the deputy there was like, "No, she's not. She's
Putting a
not
stop to
coming
that.
in." Yeah,
No, not happening.
I was like, "No, it's fine." It was not fine.
So
she had to go to
you
the
had a
front.
dress for Judy, right?
Yep, green.
How tall are these things? They're not that tall, right?
And I was like 6'1", so she was probably 5'10".
Were you trying to walk with it like standing up, or did you just kind of hold it around
No,
your waist?
no, I had her around the waist, but she was standing up.
Okay.
We were walking in,
Yeah.
and we turned for photos. Yeah, I totally cheesed it up.
All right. Well, good for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To me, nothing wrong with that. People's thing is kind of weird. I thought it was hilarious.
It is funny.
It got a lot of great photos, I'm sure, out there from people who goes, remember that guy that took the, And the thing is, if I ever do anything wrong and get like put in jail and become like known for some horrible thing, that's going to be the story. People go, well, I knew something was wrong with that.
Clearly.
We
I
knew.
mean,
Yeah.
don't you remember when he brought the blow-up doll?
Yeah,
to the
we
prom?
knew. He was always kind of a weirdo.
Wait. Did she make it all the way through, or did she get popped at some point?
I had to put her in the trunk after.
Wouldn't let you in, right?
Wouldn't
Yeah,
let me
yeah,
in,
right.
and something in the trunk popped her,
Ugh.
and she was deflated by the after party because she was going to be brought out and
What
like,
a
passed
sad
around.
end. What a sad end.
I wanted to bring her to college, and my mom said no, which for some reason like that was the line too far. Like high school, prom,
That was too weird.
Totally
Yeah,
fine.
right.
College, no.
Yeah.
Come on, Josh. So.
Those kind of shenanigans at college are simply unacceptable.
Yeah,
Nobody does things like that.
it did not get past her. So when we come back, we have a news story breaking about a Walking Dead hitting the big screen. Fill you in when we come back on Real News Lunch Break. Lunch Break Show. I am Josh, joined in studio by Zach Lewis and Matt Stoker. We're here again. I feel like I say it over and over and over again, but I can't tell you enough. We're here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 12 until 1 on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Please like, follow, and subscribe.
That's what you call resetting.
Yeah, just resetting it up every time.
Is that what that is? Resetting?
Yeah.
Today I learned.
There you go. So today, and on the show, we talk about all things trending and topical. And one of the things that hit the Twitter sphere, and I saw a lot of things with the hashtag coming back for The Walking Dead, is The Walking Dead may be hitting the big screen. And by maybe, I mean it will be hitting the big screen, but not in the way that you think.
Okay.
So what they're doing is they're showing the Fear the Walking Dead, which is a show that's still out.
Like the spin-off show.
Yeah, it's season 4.
Uh-huh.
But there's going to be a crossover with The Walking Dead and Fear of the Walking Dead, and they're going to show that on the big screen.
Right. So to be clear, The Walking Dead and Fear the Walking Dead both take place in the same universe, right? They're both set in Georgia, post-apocalypse.
No, well, I think Fear the Walking Dead was... I haven't watched it in quite a long time, but it started in California. Now, I don't know if they've made their way east or not, but the initial show started in California.
Right, just like my Tomb Raider spiel on Friday. I'm perfect to talk about this because I don't watch The Walking Dead. I stopped watching it way before everybody else did for reasons I might get to. How much of it have you seen?
I've watched up until I bailed out about a season ago.
Josh is holding up a goose egg if you can't see it.
I haven't
Big
seen,
zero.
I haven't seen episode.
Okay. Have you read any of the comics?
No.
There was a lot of good about the show for a while. Yeah.
It got like a lot of attention. It did really well, and my wife enjoyed it because it had the Asian guy in it.
Sure.
Well, I forget his name.
Stephen Yoon?
Yeah, and he was like for the first time.
Glenn
like,
was the character.
Yeah, Glenn. But the first time it was like an Asian character who wasn't like into ninjas and stuff. He was like just an actual like guy who did a really good job. So it's true though.
Ninjas,
well, but no, that's like a stereotype.
No,
for if you're an
I get
Asian
it.
actor, you have to like be into karate and stuff.
Yeah, you gotta be into ninjas.
To be fair, in the comic and the show, Glenn's character, when the main character Rick meets him, he is in inner city Georgia, or where? What city?
Atlanta.
Are they in? Atlanta. That's right. With a bunch of zombies, and he's sent in and out to run for supplies because he is quick and nimble. So yeah, maybe not a ninja, but like there's certainly he's supposed to be fast.
He's young.
Right,
He's a young
right?
Young ninja is what they call it.
And Andy stopped at season 3. I think that's where most people started to jump the boat. Yeah. The Walking Dead is weird because it's very slow paced. Nothing happens in that show. And it seems like things are going to happen every episode. They're teasing next week, like somebody's going to get eaten by a zombie. Nobody ever gets eaten. They eat like 3 people a season, right? Nothing happens. Yeah. They hang out on Herschel's farm or in the woods or at the prison, and nothing ever happens. And it's just a series of disappointments. And then they made Fear the Walking Dead, a spinoff that isn't based on the comic, right? It's based on the world of the comic, but it hasn't been pre-written yet, right? Like, for the show, if you kind of want to find out what happens, you could read the comic up to a point. Whereas Fear the Walking Dead is kind of its own thing that they made for television. And I haven't watched any of that. I can't speak towards it. But I think it's kind of the same thing. Like, nothing happens. So the crossover is exciting, but it's kind of inevitable. And odds are nothing will happen.
I'm not sure why... I'm not sure why they're putting this on the big screen. I mean, I guess it's a big deal. I don't know if it's going to be 2 hours long or not. Do we know any details about
it's going to be? It's called Survival Sunday, and it's the first time the show will be tied together by Lenny James Morgan.
Okay.
Lenny James Morgan, sure.
Yeah. The character called Morgan.
Character. Yeah, named Morgan.
Sure.
Yeah. Will be in both episodes. So he's going to be the crossover guy. And it's going to be at 7:50 in theaters across the country. Check your local listings. Call your favorite theater and see if they have it. Survival Sunday.
Like a Fathom event?
Yeah,
like
probably.
A Fathom event.
Yeah.
I will say of all the actors on the show, I like Lenny James quite a bit. Morgan's a great character, and he's a good actor.
The first season of The Walking Dead was directed by Frank Darabont, the guy who did The Shawshank Redemption. And he asked for like $1 million to make the first season, which was like 8 episodes or something, and it was great. And then the second season, he wanted more, and AMC fired him, and we're like, nope, you're going to do this on half the budget, which is why, as Andy said in the comments, The Walking Dead is a show that squeezes 5 episodes into 10 every season. Like, they just stretch it as far as it can go.
Right.
And then they made a spin-off series to stretch it more so they can make a little bit more scratch off of advertising, I guess. And now they're doing like a Fathom event to try to do the same thing. It's astounding that people still watch it. It really is. I don't know who
I know a lot of
watches
people
the
who are.
spin-off.
Yeah, I know a lot of people.
I-
It's one of the
it-
most popular shows on TV.
It really
still,
does
so.
surprise me. Yeah,
I'm
that-
surprised I jumped off of it, but I did, and I don't feel bad about it. But,
You didn't jump. Nobody jumps off The Walking Dead. You just fall off because the cart's not moving, right? Like nothing happens.
Well, yeah, I mean, not to get into it, but there was a pretty significant stopping point where we were like, all right, I don't think this show's for us anymore, and we bailed out.
What, do they like jump the shark or something?
No, not really.
Okay.
No, it just got like gruesome in a sense that it's like you're really like committing a lot of violence for no good apparent reason. You know?
Yeah.
Used to the show, I think, had something to say, but it got to the point where it's like, okay, this is just cartoonish on a level which is typical, similar to what they do in the comic books, but there's nothing behind it really. So
Right. Samantha pointed out she goes to Doctor Who events, so fans of the show are probably
sure
like,
people dig it.
it's a little different. Doctor Who is like 60 years old or something. Like they've been doing that forever. It's a standing tradition in television. It's the longest running series of all time, right? I mean, that's not quite the same, but I guess to be fair,
enough.
people will buy tickets
Yeah,
to
people will
this
go.
stupid
Yeah.
AMC Fathom event thing. Anyway,
And lastly, because I did tease it, we're talking about taxes. It's a tax season, and
It is, indeed.
the only thing scarier than zombies.
yeah, the thing you don't overlook is tax deductions. These are some of the most commonly overlooked tax deductions, brought to you by Hewlett, Jackson Hewlett.
Are they paid to get a sponsorship on this show?
They did not.
Don't need to say their name then.
Well, luckily, I screwed it up, so it's fine.
it's fine. Have either of you done your taxes yet?
Yes.
Yep,
Oh
all
my
done.
God. Okay. Cool. I did too.
I mean, you don't have to have.
Yeah.
No,
You've got time.
I've not done it.
I never.
Well, we're reading this list, and you guys both seem like responsible adult individuals, Judy aside, and me, I'm over here, waiting to the last minute, as you do.
That's fine. I
But
was
guess
that guy forever.
I guess I can take advantage of these 5
Sure.
tax
Well-
deductions that people overlook.
When I always do it early. If I
Okay.
owe, I wait till the last day. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
If
Yeah.
I get money back, I do it as soon as humanly possible.
Right.
Before the government totally runs out of cash.
Yeah.
Is my thinking. You're going to run out of cash, and I'm not going to get my check.
Yeah.
So
Gotta get mine.
I got to get
paid.
mine. Yeah.
Where do you guys land on that? Usually owe, or you get money back?
I have owed the last couple of years. I'm trying
Yeah.
to sort out the withholdings to where I don't have to owe. But yeah, the last couple of years I have owed.
How about
I've
you?
owed the same way, but I don't mind owing because I want as much as I possibly can.
I just
Right.
want to get it to zero. That's all I want. I don't want.
I mean, that's what you're supposed to do, right?
And I don't. Yeah.
Ideally,
and I don't
you're supposed
wanna-
to be at 0.
I don't want to be getting money. I mean, getting money back is nice, but I'm fine not
Yeah.
using the government as a savings account. So.
I pursue the very, very ignorant approach that, like, I love getting money back, so you can have it all, and then at the end of the
Sure.
year,
I
it's
mean,
like,
it feels
it's like
nice,
a treat.
yeah.
Like, oh, look, I get this cool thing that technically is mine, and I should have had the whole time, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's
use these deductions, and you might get money back.
different strokes for different folks. Yes, the deductions.
So this list is going to be kind of anticlimactic because most of these are pretty. I thought were pretty common. So maybe I'm wrong.
Okay.
But starting a small business, you can write off having a small business.
Okay.
As a
Fair
matter
enough.
of fact, when I was in college, I started a small business just for the tax deductions.
what was your small business in college?
I was an events. It was an events company called Hook Promotions.
Hook Promotions.
Yes. Again, I've written a lot about me here, but when I
Yeah,
was,
I'm sorry. You seem to have
when I
yeah.
was in college, I threw like fight nights together.
What? You threw
What, like
fight
fight
nights together?
clubs?
Like fight clubs, yeah. So I went to a very small, private Christian college with the most like candy-coated like boys ever.
Sure.
And so I thought it would be kind of funny is they
You're
would
gonna mess
pay-
them up a little bit.
No,
Yeah.
they would pay to go and box, and so I would get gloves, and I had a full thing. I had lights, sound, DJs. I rented out like hotel ballrooms toward the end of them.
Oh, wow.
And we would have like a big piece of carpet, so they would fight on that carpet, and they would call fight nights. And so I threw like probably 10 of these. And it started off being for charity, and then it started just being for profit because I realized I'm making like $3,000 a night doing this. So, and for college kids, $3,000 a night's huge.
Yeah, no, that's not bad.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm gonna need evidence of this. I'm calling shenanigans. I don't think that really happened.
Okay,
I think you're making this
You
up.
can go to YouTube and look up Fight Night.
I would like to do that.
The
yeah.
problem with that is that there's a lot of really snarky, mean comments about me in the video. But yeah, it's there.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look into Fight Night.
you were
I'd
the
like to
sleazy
believe
promoter.
that's real, but like, come on, you started this for charity and you ended up renting out hotel ballrooms and making $3,000 a
And
night.
again, we're getting way off topic, and maybe this isn't a show.
Making
a show
candy-coated
conversation.
Christian college students
Yeah.
fight each other.
So it started off where I got challenged to box because I am much more, even though I'm a big guy, as you can see, I'm much more snarky than I am physical. Like I cut you with words more than I do go to fisticuffs.
Sticks and stones.
Yeah. And so I had, I guess, taunted a kid to the point where he wanted to fight me.
Okay.
Now, given he was like...
Some might call that bullying.
Someone, and they would be correct. But it was in my theory, it was like tit for tat. It was back and forth. I was just better at it.
Right.
It wasn't
better
like,
bully.
Yeah, like he would try to get back and it just wouldn't work out. Anyway, so he's like, you know what? We're gonna box. I'm like, you're an idiot because I am like 3 times your size. So obviously I accept. And that was the worst boxing that you had ever seen in your entire life. I charged 25 cents. We had it in a church fellowship hall because at the time I worked at the church as a youth pastor. Again, we can go really into long stories here. And I raised like $250 with 50 cents or whatever you had donations. And that's when the light bulb flicked off. Like, there's money to be made here. So this was my sophomore year. So then after that, I threw like 10 of those after that. 10 of those events. And it got from like we were doing it in churches to where we were doing it in hotels, where we were doing it all over the place in like big facilities, to where it got to where we were in an actual like Best Western off of off of 40 in Oklahoma. And we had the whole ballroom decked out, no lights, spots coming down, the actual event. So we did it there.
I feel like a prospector that just hit a vein that goes a mile deep.
Oh, I know. We do not have enough time to dig into all of this.
Either way, that's what that show is about. And that's why I created my own company. So everything that I bought was for the company.
So you too can deduct your fight night.
So you too can deduct your fight night stuff.
Oh, God. Yeah, just keep going with the list.
Okay.
I can't.
Anyway, the next
I can't
one
unpack all that.
is taking care of older relatives.
Really?
Yeah, you can write that off. So if you're
put them in a fight night and take care of them.
Hey, survival of the fittest. Who wants to get there? Anyway, so that's something that you can do if you take care of more than 50% of them. Like if you take care of them for more than 50% of the time, you can write that off. They become a dependent. Also, educational credits. So the interest that you pay on school, like on your school loan, you can write that off.
Okay.
Right. That makes sense.
That makes sense. Yeah.
I do that.
And then charity, obviously everyone knows about charity. Essentially you get 14 cents. You can write off the mileage that you took going to the charity.
Oh, I was not aware of that.
So you write off 14 cents on a mile. So if you're going, so find the charity that's furthest away. So that's the trick. It's like if you're going to go on a road trip,
go do a lot of charitable work in Shreveport.
So you know what? I'm going on a road trip to Seattle, right? So I'm going to find a charity in Seattle to go volunteer for at least 1 hour. Volunteer 1 hour, you have then successfully written off your entire road trip to Seattle. I should be an accountant.
Clearly, you're in the wrong line of work here.
Productions. The one that we did not get to that was a surprise to me was that your job hunting expenses can also be written off.
I have heard that, like
Really?
paper for resumes and I guess probably even time spent driving around and doing interviews and stuff like that.
Yep.
You can
All
write that off. Yeah.
So if something happens to the people out there and you're looking for a job, you can write off everything that you do.
I imagine something's going to happen to the three of us in about 10 minutes after this show.
Bing! So there you go. An exciting show today. I feel like
Shenanigans going on down here.
Yeah, I feel like I shared way too much about my own personal life that we wasn't supposed to get into. Either way, I hope you enjoy today's National Laugh Day. Hope you enjoy a good laugh on National Laugh Day. Hopefully you had a good time here. Join us again on Wednesday at 12 o'clock on RNC for the Lunch Break Show.